When God made a basketball player, he just carved Chris Mullin out and just said, this is a player.
You know they want to get the ball to Mullin, wouldn't you? He dribbles, he stops, he shoots over Magic from 21. Oh, he hit about a 30-footer.
Chris Mullin, straight from Brooklyn, better known as Crooklyn.
Brooklyn is in the building. We here.
Chris Mullin lived basketball. Couldn't get him out of the gym.
How's a working man does it just a little better? A working man works overtime.
He was always in shape. He was always in the gym, calling us, talking about, let's go work out, let's go play.
Tell Nelly, put me back in the game, man. I'm just about getting hot.
A white guy who could jump that big, but still averaging 25 and will bust your in a second. Look at Chris Mullin.
The late 80s and early 90s had so many changes in terms of fresh faces in the league. With the new changing of the guard and success of the NBA, many new players found that fame and notoriety with their basketball play. At the helm, there was, of course, Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, Reggie Miller, and many other greats, too many to name. These players, for the most part, use their scoring ability to wow audiences and stun their opponents. Among those other players is someone who doesn't get as much recognition nowadays. Someone who is an elite scorer and an elite shooter. Someone who put Golden State back on the map. And someone who is a part of one of the most iconic teams, the most iconic team in sports history. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Christopher Paul Mullin, known to us as Chris Mullin, and he has a right to be in the discussion for the NBA's top 75 list. Chris Mullin, the 6'6" small forward, was drafted by Golden State in 1985 with the 7th pick. He showed signs of his scoring ability in his first 2 years as a scoring role player with the team, but his true abilities didn't surface until his 3rd year. From that point on, Chris Mullin was a scoring problem. He could score in a variety of ways, from the post, in transition, on the dribble, off the dribble, inside the paint, inside the 3, and outside the 3. He was a good ball handler, was quick running the floor on the fast break, great post scorer, could create his own shot, was a fantastic catch and shooter, as well as being an elite shooter along with that, having the best and smoothest shooting stroke I've ever seen with that left-hand shooting form. Even though he was a scorer, Mullin could do other things as well, like setting up his teammates, as he was an underrated passer, and he was skilled at playing the passing lane, stealing the ball to set up fast breaks. He became their best player in the 88-89 season in front of his scoring running mate, Mitch Richmond, as Mullin broke out, averaging 26 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals, and was selected to his first All-Star team. He would lead them to the playoffs and averaged 29 points, sweeping Malone and Stockton's Jazz in the first round, but losing to the Suns in the second round. Despite this loss, Golden State would see a resurgence in popularity and winning, something that has not happened since the mid-70s when they had Rick Barry. This was, in large part, due to their best player, Chris Mullin. From 89 to 93, Mullin was selected to 5 straight All-Star teams, made 4 All-NBA teams, and averaged 26 points and 2 steals while shooting 52% from the field. The peak of his NBA career in terms of notoriety was when he captained one of the most fun-to-watch teams in NBA history. The 1991 Warriors, also known as RUN TMC, Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullin, a takeoff the popular 80s-90s rap group RUN DMC. They wowed the NBA with their fast-paced offense and skill set, becoming one of the most entertaining teams of all time. Later in his career, he would join the Indiana Pacers and help them as a role player. He still put up numbers and led them in three-point field goal percentage. Now, to get to why I think voters left him off the list. His prime didn't last as long compared to other players. This could be due to an injury he suffered in the 93 season, which then pushed him to more of a role player down the line. After that season, he never returned to his all-star form. However, Mullin had legendary moments in his career to overcome that. I already mentioned RUN TMC, but let's go further into that season. Mullin led them to the playoffs, and to a first-round victory over David Robinson's Spurs. Then they would face Magic's Lakers. Game 2 of that series would feature one of the most legendary playoff duels of all time between Chris Mullin and Magic Johnson in LA. A scoring display by two of the best players in the league at the time, going back and forth, trading bucket for bucket. It was unbelievable to watch. Magic finished the game with 44, while Mullin finished with 41, and most importantly, got the win. Unfortunately, the Warriors would lose to the Lakers in 5, but still impressive considering the Lakers made it to the finals that year. Legendary moments for Mullin doesn't stop there, as the next year in '92, he would be a part of the most iconic team in sports history, the Dream Team. A team that consisted of the best basketball players in US that just happened to be the best basketball players in the world. A team full of league MVPs, Hall of Famers, all-time leaders, and he was on it, and rightfully so. Mullin fit in perfectly with that team and was the best shooter on that team. With the exception of Christian Laettner, who was on that team because they needed a college player, every member on that team made it into the Hall of Fame for not only their individual playing career, but also made it to the Hall of Fame again for being a member of the Dream Team. To continue, all of those same players made the top 75 list. Every single one of them, except Mullin. That should tell you something may not be right. All in all, Chris Mullin should not be forgotten. He was one of the best scorers of his time. He is one of the best shooters of all time, with one of the best shooting forms of all time. He helped put Golden State back on the map in the NBA. He captained one of the most entertaining teams of all time, RUN TMC, and was a part of the most iconic team in sports history, the Dream Team. So, with all that being said, does Chris Mullin have enough of a case to be on the NBA's top 75 list?